भजो भाई श्री चैतन्य विश्वदास करे
विषया छाड़िया से रसे मजिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि
विषय छाड़िया
तेरा से मजिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि
देख ओरे भाई त्रिभुवने नाय ए मोनो दयालो दाता
देख रे भाई त्रिभुवने नाय ये मोने दयाल दाता
पशु पाखी जोरे पाषाण बिदरे शुनि जार गुण गाता
पशु
जुरे पासना विदारे पुनि
जन गुण गाता
संसारे मजिया रोहिली पोरिया से पदे नहिलो आशा
संसारे परिया रोहिले परिया
ते
पदे नहीं आशा
आपन कर्म भुंजाये शमना कहये लोचन दास
आपन कर्म भुंजय समना कयो लोचन दास
परम करुणा पाहु द्विजन निताय गौरचंद्र
परम करुणा बहु द्विजन निताय गौरचंद्र
शबवतार चार शिरोमणि केवल आनंद कांद
सब अवतार सार शिरोमणि केवल आनंद।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमर डिवाइन ग्रेस AC भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय
जय
अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय
जय
इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
जय
नाम आचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय
जय
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय
जय
नवद्वीप धाम की जय
जय
गंगा माई की जय
जय
यमुना माई की जय
जय
तुलसी देवी की जय
जय
भक्ति देवी की जय
जय
समवेता भक्त वृंद की जय
जय
गौर प्रेम आनंदे
हरि हरि बोल
all glories to the assembled devotees
हरे कृष्णा
all glories to the assembled devotees
हरे कृष्णा
all glories to the assembled devotees
हरे कृष्णा
all glory to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol
हरि हरि
हरे हरि बोल
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya
Jai
Jaya
Jai Sri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Jaya
Jai
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya
Jai
Advaita
Advaita
Chandra
Chandra
Jaya
Jai
Gaur Bhakta
Gaur Bhakta
Vrinda.
Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya
Jai
Jaya
Jai Sri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Jaya
Jai
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya
Jai
Advaita
Advaita
Chandra
Chandra
Jaya
Jai
Gaur
Gaur
Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda.
Jai
Vrinda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya
Jai
Jaya Sri
Jai Sri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Jaya
Jai
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya
Jai
Datta
Advaita
Chandra
Chandra
Jaya
Jai
Gaur
Gaur
Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda.
Vrinda.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
We're
Krishna.
we're studying the Chaitanya Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 21, and we're on text 12. With this chapter is entitled "The Opulence and Sweetness of Krishna," which is a continuation of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatan Goswami.
ব্রহ্মাদি রহু সহস্র বদনে অনন্ত নিরন্তর গায় মুখে না পায় না পায় গুণের অন্ত।
To say nothing of Lord Brahma, even Lord Ananta, who has thousands of heads, could not reach the end of the Lord's transcendental qualities, even though he is continuously chanting their praises. So it's just something like the sun is emanating heat and light for eons without diminishing its own power. Similarly, his own power. Similarly, Lord Ananta is chanting the glories of Lord Krishna for eons, and still he hasn't run out of he hasn't come to the end of those qualities. Well, this is Sanskrit. Nantam vidamyaham ami munayo grajaste maya balasya purushasya kuto varagye gayan gunan dashashanatana adi deva shesho tunapi sammasvasyati nasya param. If I, Lord Brahma, and your elder brothers, the great saints and sages, cannot understand the limits of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of various energies, who else can understand them? Although constantly chanting about his transcendental qualities, the thousand-hooded Lord Shesha has not yet reached the end of the Lord's activities. Purport: this verse, spoken to Narad Muni, is from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.41.
সেহ রহু সর্বজ্ঞ শিরোমণি শ্রীকৃষ্ণ নিজ গুণের অন্ত না পানা হয়েন সতৃষ্ণ।
To say nothing of Anantadev, even Lord Krishna himself cannot find an end to his transcendental qualities. Indeed, he himself is always eager to know them. Dupataye eva tena yayur antamanantayaya tam apiyayad antaranda nichaya nanu shavananna ka eva rajangsi vanti vayasa sahayat trutayas tvayihi palantyanan atan nirashanena bhuvan nidhana. My Lord, you are unlimited. Even the predominating deities of the higher planetary systems, including Lord Brahma, could not find your limitations, nor could you yourself ascertain the limit of your qualities. Like atoms in the sky, there are multi-universes with 7 coverings, and these are rotating in due course of time. All the experts in Vedic understanding are searching for you by eliminating the material elements. In this way, searching and searching, they come to the conclusion that everything is complete in you. Thus, you are the resort of everything. This is the conclusion of all Vedic experts. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1087:41 is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavam mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudulabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. After searching for the absolute truth throughout the universe, learned scholars and Vedic experts cannot reach the ultimate goal. In this way, they come to Krishna. When there is discussion about the absolute truth, there are always various pros and cons. The purpose of such argument is to come to the right conclusion. Such an argument is generally known as neti neti, not this, not that. Until one comes to the right conclusion, the process of thinking, this is not the absolute truth, that is not the absolute truth, will continue. When we come to the right conclusion, we accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as the ultimate truth. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Shapanandikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are quite a few things we mentioned in these preceding verses. One of the things mentioned was that even Lord Krishna, he has a difficult time understanding the completeness of his qualities. And because of that, that's one of the reasons for the advent of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We know this. The external reason for Lord Chaitanya to appear was to spread the Yuga Dharma of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as the method, the prime method for developing God consciousness in the age of Kali. But one of the internal reasons was for Lord Krishna to take the position of Radharani in order for him to understand better the qualities in Krishna that are so attractive. So in that way he understood. Sometimes people ask the question, well, if God can do anything, can he make a rock so big that he can't lift it? Have you heard this before?
Yes.
Yeah, so the answer is yes. Yes, he can. But then in the next moment he can lift it. And that's Lord Chaitanya. His qualities, Lord Krishna's qualities are so vast that it's even Lord Krishna becomes sometimes they're seen beyond his understanding. But then he can understand them by his own potency, or in the case of Lord Chaitanya, accepting the position of Srimati Radharani to better understand those qualities. So this is very interesting. In this purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about the neti philosophers, because in the Sankhya Yoga process, which is taught by Kapila Dev, the method is for those trying to make progress on that path to meditate and try to isolate and understand the qualities of all the elements within the material world. As Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumir apo analo vayu kammano buddharevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtada. There's 8 separated material energies. Bhumi means solids, apa, liquids. Bhumir apo analo. What's anala? Fire, radiant energy. Vayu, gases. Kang, ether. Buddhir, mana is mind, buddhi, intelligence, and ahankara is the false ego. These are 8 of the material elements. Then there's also other elements. There's considered the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. You know this? The 5 knowledge acquiring senses
Yes.
are eyes,
Ears.
ears,
Tongue.
tongue, touch. What's the other one?
Feeling.
Smell.
Oh.
5, yeah. 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses.
Hands, legs, and
Hands, legs,
mind and
tongue for
things.
speaking, belly, genitals. Yeah.
Hearing.
Hearing is the knowledge acquiring, but working, the working ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's the besides that, there's the 5 sense objects. The 5 sense objects. And beyond that, there's the totality of those things. So the Sankhya yogis would meditate and trying to understand the qualities of each one of those things, and understand, number one, it's not them. They're different than those things. Then they can understand there's another element, that's the soul, their existence, and then finally, if they get the mercy of Krishna, then they can understand there's the super soul beyond all those different elements, and also beyond the soul. So that process is called neti, and it takes usually a very long time. That's why the verse here says bahunam janmanam, means many births. Ante, after many births. Bahunam Jnanavan means a person who actually acquires knowledge. Mam prapadyate, they surrender to me. Vasudeva sarvamiti, that person knows that Krishna is everything.
Knows everything.
That Mahatma is very, very rare, very rare. Sometimes, one time a person asked me a question, you Hare Krishna people, you're always chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So, doesn't Krishna get bored hearing his name again and again? Isn't it? Yeah, doesn't Krishna get bored? Of course, that's looking at things from the material point of view. And from a material point of view, any material thing, you're going to get really bored with anything after a very short time. Therefore, the mental process is we accept something in a mind and then reject it, because after a very short time it becomes uninteresting. Or when they do movie shots or television shots, usually they have several cameras and they go from one shot, one position to another position, very one to, because people become the people's interest becomes slackened after a short time, so you get a different position. So similarly, our mind is like that. We have to have a different position. So and that's the way it is in the material world. But you could say, well, if Krishna could get bored, but the thing is that everything is Krishna. There's nothing that isn't Krishna. Vasudeva sarvamiti. There's nothing that isn't Krishna. So but that Krishna's existence is beyond the material world of boredom and duality. His existence, including his name, is all blissful and all transcendental. Nama Chintamani Krishnash Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It's that name of Krishna is made of the same transcendental spiritual energy as the Lord Himself. So it's a very wonderful, special, special name, and He especially likes it not just to hear the name, but to hear it with
He
some
loves
bhakti,
it.
with bhakti.
Bhakti.
So that little addition is especially pleasing to Krishna, because everything is Krishna. What are you going to do? So that's one of the answers one can give for this. So this part of the Caitanya Charitamrita is very it's very, very advanced. We were just coming through, and we're going to go through some more description of the spiritual world of the Vaikuntha planets and Krishna Loka. We've already talked a little bit about that. So just keep in mind these things are we'll find a little bit about that in other scriptures of the world, but in very, very, very brief descriptions. But in the Vedic scriptures, you have a more elaborate description. Even in Bhagavad Gita, there are very few verses that describe the goal or the spiritual world. Do you know any of those verses?
What is the question, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Oh, is that Ram?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
So verses that describe the spiritual world in the Bhagavad Gita.
Na tad bhasayate sura na sasanka.
Yes. Natad bhasyate shuryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gadvani nivartante tadhama paramam mama. He said, Lord Krishna says, that's the 15th chapter, I think 6th verse. He says, in that place, there's no need for sun, moon,
Moonlight.
or electricity. Here in this world is a place of darkness.
Yeah.
Tamasi man jyoti gava. This material will, and if you don't have illumination, everything is dark. But that world there's no need of sun or moon or electricity, because everything is self-luminous, and yad gadvani nivartante. So that place, when you get there, you don't come back. No, tadhama paramam. That's my abode. There's another verse also in the 7th chapter. You remember that verse?
Was it 7.6?
720.
720.
Paras tasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatana yasa saveshu bhuteshu nasyat shonivinashyati. So then he said he was describing, Lord Krishna is describing that this world under a particular schedule is created and destroyed in particular intervals. But there's beyond this world, there's another nature. Paras means beyond that. Tasmat, therefore, bhavonyo, vyakto vyaktat sanatana. In this world is vyakto means created, vyaktat, avyaktat means annihilated, sanatana means it's eternal. So beyond this creation and annihilation that we experience in this world, there's a different nature that is transcendental. It's not destroyed. When everything in this world is destroyed, that part remains as it is. So these are brief descriptions of the spiritual world given in Bhagavad Gita, but in the Caitanya Charitamrita, because we say it's the postgraduate study, it gives a little more about it. It gives some more information, more detailed information about that. Just like when you're in 1st grade or 2nd grade, you might learn about history a little bit. And then maybe in 6th grade or high standard, you learn more. So that's how it is here in Caitanya Charitamrita. It's not contradicting what we learned before, but it just gives a little more information. Comments, questions?
You mentioned, no, I have a question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So you mentioned smelling is a way of one of the, how is smelling?
Knowledge acquiring. Knowledge acquiring.
How?
Well, you see, this if you're coming into an area that smells like a dead body, you're going to be very careful about that. The knowledge of the scent is entering your nose. Then that's a particular point of knowledge. The scent, just like you see something, and that gives you awareness of something's presence. Similarly, you smell something, and it gives you awareness of something's presence.
Okay, so is there something like a bad smell and a good smell?
Sure. We offer roses, and we don't offer other unmentionable things. You know.
No, my question was, how is that related to learning? Yeah, it's a sense, but how is that sense of smell related to learning?
Well, learning means making associations with things. I learn that a child learns by knowing what this is a car, that's a chair. This is a certain aspect of learning by seeing the form. So similarly, we learn by understanding the smell. That's one of the things we learn.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Next verse.
Prabhuji, before moving to next verse, the song we sung like Lochan Dasa, Parama Karuna Pahuduja Nitaya Gorachanda. So only 4 texts are there. So is it like Ashtakam, like Sikshashtakam? Many of that will comes with 8 verses. So this is having 4 verses. So do we name anything like that? Means like Chaturashtakam or kind of?
I don't know that.
Just curious to know.
I don't know. Yeah. There's other verses, songs also by like Govinda Das Kaviraj, that has 4 verses also.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Well, good question, but I don't know the answer.
And Prabhuji, Lochan Das pastime, is there something like major we see like Bhakti Vinod Thakurji songs and Narottam Das Thakur songs. So Lochan Das is also in the parampara kind of, or what?
He was an associate of Lord Chaitanya, but the descriptions of his activities, I'd have to get back to you on that.
He wrote Chaitanya Mangal.
Yeah, there's a book called Chaitanya Mangal. Yeah, thank you, Sudevi.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mother.
Yeah.
সেহ রহু ব্রজে যবে কৃষ্ণ অবতার তার চরিত্র বিচারিতে মন না পায় পার.
Apart from all argument, logic, and negative or positive processes, when Lord Sri Krishna was present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead at Vrindavan, one could not find a limit to his potencies by studying his characteristics and activities.
প্রাকৃত সৃষ্টি কইলা এক্ষণে অশেষ বৈকুণ্ঠাজাণ্ড শশনাথ শনে.
At Vrindavan, the Lord immediately created all material and spiritual planets in one moment. Indeed, all of them are created with their predominating deities.
এ মত অন্যত্র নাহি শুনিয়ে অদ্ভুত যাহার শ্রবণে চিত্ত হয় অবধূত.
We do not hear of such wonderful things anywhere. Simply by hearing of those incidents, one's consciousness is agitated and cleansed. Purport. When Lord Krishna was present in the earthly Vrindavan, Lord Brahma, taking him to be an ordinary cowherd boy, wanted to test his potency. Therefore, Lord Brahma stole all the cows, calves, and cowherd boys from Krishna and hid them by his illusory energy. When Krishna saw that Brahma had stolen his cows, calves, and cowherd boys, he immediately created many material and spiritual planets in Lord Brahma's presence. Within a moment, cows, cowherd boys, calves, and unlimited Vaikunthas, all expansions of the Lord's energy, were manifested. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhi. Not only did Krishna create all the paraphernalia of his spiritual energy, but he also created unlimited material universes with unlimited Brahmas. All these pastimes, which are described in Srimad Bhagavatam, will cleanse one's consciousness. In this way, one can actually understand the absolute truth. The spiritual planets in the spiritual sky are called Vaikunthas, and each of them has a predominating deity, Narayan, with a specific name. Similarly, in the material sky, there are innumerable universes, and each is dominated by a specific deity, a Brahma. Krishna simultaneously created all these Vaikuntha planets and universes within a moment of Brahma's return. The word avadhuta means rambling, agitating, moving, absorbed, defeated. In some readings of Caitanya Caritamrita, it is said, Jahar Shravane Chittamala Hoy Dhut, instead of the word avadhut. The word hoyadhut, meaning that the heart of consciousness is cleansed, is used. When the consciousness is cleansed, one can understand what and who Krishna is. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Jesam tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva mohanir mukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful activities are completely eradicated, and who are free from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. Unless one is freed from the reaction of sinful activities, one cannot understand Krishna or engage in his transcendental loving service. So this first part of the purport, you might be familiar with this, one of the activities of Krishna, which is we're studying the Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, and this is just coming up, this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's got a title, and it's called the Brahma Bimohan Lila. Brahma is Lord Brahma. Mohan means
Krishna.
Mohan is Krishna, but Mohan means Krishna is who bewilders people.
Bewildering.
Yeah, bewildering. And Bimohan means very bewildered. Bimohan Lila. So Lord Krishna really bewildered Brahma because what happened, this was when it started out when Lord Krishna was 5, and he and his cowherd boyfriends had gone out in the morning, and they were encountered the Agasura demon, a big snake, and that snake had been killed by Krishna. But a year passed, and the boys, when they went home to their mothers, they had told their mothers about the killing the snake, and they said it happened just a couple days ago, or that day, in fact, that day. So that was a little bewildering. So Parikshit Maharaj asked, how is that? So he told, Shukadev Goswami told that actually what happened was, after the Agasura demon was killed, the boys went to have a picnic with their tiffins. You say tiffin or tiffin box?
Tiffins.
Tiffins, okay, okay. So as they were, they were in the middle of herding their calves, and while they were having their lunch, some of the calves wandered away. So the boys became a little anxious. So Lord Krishna said, no, just wait here. I'll go find them. I'll bring them back. You finish your lunch. So Lord Krishna went. But actually what had happened is Lord Brahma, watching what's going on with Krishna, he wanted to test his potency to see, is this, I mean, this little boy is only 5, you can imagine a little boy, 5 years old, what potency could he have? What power can he have? So he decided to kidnap all those calves and all the cowherd boys and keep them in a cave in mystic slumber by his own mystic power. So then Krishna, when he couldn't find the calves, he came back and the cowherd boys were gone. Then he could immediately understand what that Brahma had kidnapped all these calves and cowherd boys. So he then decided on the spot to create all those calves and cowherd boys immediately by his making a personal expansion of himself into all those calves, thousands and thousands of calves and cowherd boys, each with their own specific bodily features and personalities. So then those, now before those cowherd boys and calves were living entities, exalted living entities, but now they were personal expansions of Krishna. So the calves went home to their mother cows, and the cowherd boys went home to their mothers, gopis, elderly gopis, and there was no difference. They accepted their calves and their children just like they were. There had been no change. Only there was one small change. The small change was that the mothers and the cows, they seemed to have even increased affection for their children and for their calves. So this was a little surprising. A year passed in this way. Every day they would go out just like before, herding the calves. But one time, after about a year had passed, Krishna and Balaram were standing on top of a hill with the cowherd men, and in the valley there were some calves down in the valley, and the cowherd men had cows. So usually what happens is when there's dairy farmers, they don't let the calves drink all the milk of the moms of the cows, because they save some of that milk. Sometimes it's true that if the calves drink all the milk, they might get sick. But anyway, they keep them a little bit separate. So up there on the top of the hill were the cows, and down at the bottom of the hill were the calves, and Krishna and Balaram were there. So all of a sudden the cows, seeing their calves down at the bottom of the hill, broke away from the cowherd men and ran down to feed the calves milk, even though they were older than calves usually do to stop to drink the milk. So Lord Balaram, seeing this, he thought, this is amazing. How did they have these cows have such increased affection for their calves? And then he looked carefully, he could understand, this must be because they're now expansions of Krishna directly, because otherwise there's no other explanation. So then just after that, Lord Brahma, after he had stolen and kidnapped the calves and the cowherd boys, kept them in a cave in mystic sleep, he thought, well, let me come back and look to see the fun, see what's going on, and see how Krishna is dealing with this. But because he has a different time scale, even a moment in his time was a year on Earth planet. So he came back, and looking first at the area of Vrindavan, he noticed there was Krishna, and there was the cowherd boys and the calves that he thought he had stolen. So he became a little confused because, wait, I stole those and put them away in a cave, and now they're the same cowherd boys and the calves. So then he got immediately a little confused, and then he did a double take. You know what a double take is? You look at it, well, not that, like that. You look twice. He did a double take, and then this time he saw that all the calves and cowherd boys were Narayan forms. They were. He could understand they were expansions, direct expansions of Lord Krishna. So that was another. Then, as explained here in this purport, then Krishna manifested universes and unlimited Brahmas for Lord Brahma to see, and even the spiritual Vaikuntha planets. And all the other Brahmas were coming and giving respect to Krishna. And Brahma just became completely overwhelmed by Lord Krishna's potency. So, and he, at that point, he decided that he better surrender to Krishna, because his potency, he was trying to show off his minuscule potency of mystic potency by kidnapping the cowherd boys and the calves. But his potency in comparison to Krishna's was insignificant. And he's Brahma, the number one being in the universe. So there he offered his obeisances and prayed to Lord Krishna in many ways. And one way he prayed was, he said that, I am just amazed at the spiritual potency of you, O Lord, and the devotion and the great fortune of your associates here in Vrindavan that have such wonderful opportunity to do intimate service for you and have unlimited, have wonderful love of Godhead. So I pray to you that in one of my future births, I might be able to be born as a blade of grass in Vrindavan. But if you don't find me qualified to take birth as a blade of grass in Vrindavan, then perhaps you'll allow me to take birth as a blade of grass just outside of Vrindavan. So when the devotees come outside to do whatever work they're doing, they may step on me, and in that way I can become blessed. So this is the method of advancement in spiritual life, to somehow get the dust of the blessings of the feet of the devotees of Lord Krishna. And that was prayed for by Brahma in this Leela, Brahma Vimohan Leela. So a name of Krishna that's very appropriate and for this pastime is called, his name is Asamordha. Have you heard of that name before? Asamordha? Asamordha means no one is equal to or greater than Krishna. No one is equal to or greater than Krishna. Krishna says that also in Bhagavad Gita. Matta parataram nanyat. There is no truth superior to me. Matta kinchirasta dhananjaya. Mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manikara iva. Just like all truths, all other truths are like pearls strung on a thread, and I am that thread that holds all the other truths together. So, very nice thing. Okay. One other word of interest is this. It says that someone has acted piously in previous lives, and in this life, they can engage in devotional service with determination. So, when chanting Hare Krishna and hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam and Caitanya Caritamrita, all these sinful reactions are being cleansed from our hearts. And then if one takes the initiation or diksha from the spiritual master, then all the past karma is removed at that point. Krishna takes that. So then it gives one the opportunity to engage in devotional service fully, with determination. You might think, well, pious activities in previous life and this life, should we have been doing pious activities like being giving in charity, etc.? Explain in the purport that that pious activities that are being done specifically is the transcendental piety of hearing and chanting about the Lord's pastimes, activities, his holy name, etc. That's the quickest way to free the heart from impious dirt that's accumulated there for years. Okay, I think questions, comments, corrections.
Now, I have something to share, Vishnugada Prabhu.
Okay, thank you.
So I joined Bhakti Shastri course yesterday.
Okay, great.
Just wanted to let you know.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice.
So it's like for 2.5 years. So I'll be learning all those things for 2.5 years.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I need your blessings.
Other comments or questions? Ram Singh, you usually have a question. No? Okay.
Prabhu,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
like,
Somebody's saying, yeah. Yes? Go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Let us begin.
1 second, Prabhuji. I had one. I'm just going back to the text where we were reading on. So just a second. Prabhuji, here in the text number 13,
Okay.
if I, Lord Amba, and your elder brother. Here, elder brother, your elder brother refers to whom, Prabhuji?
There were different sages
Balaram?
that were born before Narad Muni, like the 4 Kumaras. They were born before Narad Muni. They appeared before Narad Muni from Brahma's children. And there are other sages like Atri, etc.
Okay.
There are 7 great sages.
Got it, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Any other question? If not, that's okay. There was somebody else who I didn't hear someone else?
yeah, I was just talking. The only way we can understand Krishna when all our sinful, reaction has gone away. So
Yes.
that's why, like in the world, most of the people, they don't accept Krishna because of the sinful activities.
Yeah, that's
because they are not cleansed completely. That's why they take to other religions. They don't surrender directly to Krishna.
well, I mean, it's this other religions. It's not a different God. So the Christian God is the same God, but Lord Krishna says that namam duskritino mudha papadyante naradama mayata pritagyana asuram bhavamashrita. Yeah, there's different types of people who don't surrender to him, and it's all, as you say, it's because of our impious activities that clouds our vision about what's going on. It clouds our vision to understand, we're not this body, we're the spirit soul. That's clouding our vision. And because we think we're the body, therefore we are quite dedicated to activities to keep the body comfortable, even to the point of, doing things that are harmful to ourselves and others. So that goes on, yeah. In general, that's true, yeah.
Aham prakasa sarvasya yogamaya samanvitah.
Yeah.
But yesterday, on this subject, I was reading on 7th canto, where Prahlad Maharaj was Mataji's point. Prahlad Maharaj is explaining to his friends, teaching to his classmates, 7.6.28, 29, 30. So basically he says, after teaching, he says that, oh my friends, these things is not possible for anyone to understand. It is possible only when we come in disciplic succession, only when we hear from Narad Muni or his followers. Otherwise, these things are not very easy to understand by anyone, neither even by a liberated person also. One is free from sinful activities is not also possible until unless it is given by the comes to the devotees.
Yeah, good point, important point, good point. I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Hare Krishna, Vishnugada Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a humble request.
Okay.
If no one else has come forward, or if no one else is currently undertaking vgdasa.com, would you give me that honor to do your website, vgdasa.com?
No.
Why?
We'll talk about that later. Not here. Not here.
Why?
We'll talk. We can talk about it. That's not for this thing.
Yeah, you please talk, but you can work on it. Renuka Mataji, please do. It's okay. One page.
But if I'm building his website, I have to have his permission.
So Vishnugada Prabhu has requested that you talk about this at this time. So
Yeah.
Please honor that request.
Okay, sure, Dronacharya Prabhuji, sure.
Hare Krishna.
If I could just make a quick announcement.
Yes, please. We're done. We're done for this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you, Vishnugada
I had a
Prabhu.
question.
Oh, okay. All right. Please go ahead.
Can I? Vishnugada Prabhu.
Yeah. There's some problem in your communication.
Yeah. You may.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Can't hear you. No, it's something wrong with the communication.
What I'll do is I'll make the announcement, and then if the connection gets reestablished, we can ask the question right after the announcement.
Good point. Good point.
Today is Ekadasi. For those of you that may have forgotten or didn't get the message. Fast from beans and grains. Tomorrow, our Srimad Bhagavatam class will be given by His Grace Balabhadra Prabhu. So please make sure you can tune into that. Balabhadra Prabhu is our temple president here at ISKCON Philadelphia. Very knowledgeable and gives very inspirational classes. And then also tonight, we begin our Vaishnav etiquette and behavior course. If you haven't had a chance to register or sign up, please do so. A reminder went out this morning in the newsletter. If you didn't get the newsletter or didn't sign up, you can still attend and we can sign you up later. The reason we want you to sign you up is so we can give you information throughout the course, reminders. Those that take the course, you'll get a certificate at the end. It's a 5-week course, 5 weeks, 5 Wednesdays, starting at 6:30. The topics that will be covered will be temple room etiquette, Srila Prabhupada's position as the Acharya within ISKCON, sadhana habits, relationships between the devotees, and then also kirtan etiquette. Lord Caitanya said in the Caitanya Caritamrita, said that Vaishnav etiquette is the ornament of the devotee. So this is very important that we learn these things as we grow in our devotional lives. This class is relevant for the newcomer as well as the person that's been practicing for a considerable amount of time. So whatever kind of stage you're at, please take this class and join us. Vishnugada Prabhu, he'll be leading us off tonight with the topic for this evening, and we'll have different presenters throughout the month. And tonight, 6:30, and it'll be every consecutive Wednesday for the next 5 weeks on this Zoom channel.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Mother Sudevi, are you there?
Never mind, Prabhu is getting late. Just fine. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Krishna,
Thank you, Prabhu.